Hey, this is Derek Smith from Film Classic Virgins, aka Dorathis, and you're coming here today with an interview from Ash Avildsen in regards to his new film, American Satan. Great interview. I do apologize up front. There is a little bit of audio cut out due to a slow reception on the phone call, but it does clear up towards the end. But anyways, I hope you enjoy and get a chance to check out the movie. Thank you very much.
Man, thanks for taking the time out of your day to talk to me about the film.
Yeah, same to you, man. Appreciate your interest.
Yeah. So you started and were running Sumerian Records, and then you are now working on your second film, or you've done your second film now. What spurred that jump from the music industry to filmmaking?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's like I used to be in a band, so I started out as an artist. I just ended up being really good on the business side and the creative business side that, ended up with me starting a record label. But, at the core of it, writer and director makes you the artist again. And I love no matter how creative I am as a record label owner, I'm still the record label. And I'll always do that. And I love my label, and we're continuing to grow and sign a lot of new amazing artists. But, at the core of it, I love being an artist myself, and that's how I got into the entertainment business. And, that's what I love doing. So, it's really just, it's about, personal fulfillment and artistic fulfillment.
Awesome. Yeah, it's definitely important to keep that spark going and going with that. So as a fairly new director, you've had the two features. What was the biggest challenge with this film? Was it the first time actors, or was it more with the veterans?
The biggest challenge was pulling it off with the amount of days we had to shoot and the budget and everything. There was a lot of different locations. There was a lot of scenes. There's a lot of stuff that's not even in the movie that will be on the DVD, the deleted scenes. So I think that was the biggest challenge. I think Andy and Ben never done any acting at this level, being musicians as their, main gig. I thought they both did a really, really good job. Obviously, they were just kind of playing magnified versions of themselves to a certain degree, but, we tried to, we tried to make like a big budget movie for a very, indie budget. And I think that was the biggest challenge, is just pulling it off with the resources that we had.
Yeah. And I thought you guys did a really great job being able to, get access to specific venues and being able to, really pull off the good production value with that. So kudos in regards to that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So with from the info that was sent out for the press information, I know that you didn't really have an opportunity to be close to your dad, John Avildsen, while growing up, which that definitely stinks. But how was it having him helping out with this project, as you weren't able to go to really any of his sets?
I mean, it was all surreal, man. I never thought things would end up like they did.
Yeah.
So it was pretty, magical for, I don't really know another word to say, but, it was great. And he gave me some really, really great notes, on the script that I ended up incorporating that I think made the film, a lot easier to relate to as far as Johnny's character and, the ending with Gretchen and stuff. So I was really fortunate to get that. And, it was awesome, man. I just grew up never knowing him. And then we ended up hitting it off when we finally met. And American Satan was one of the first things started bonding on, and then we became very, very close, for the past 2 years. And we were working on some other projects to do in the future, and I'm still gonna continue working on those and
awesome,
and try and carry on the legacy of the last name the best that I can. But it did a lot just because growing, I loved his movies and I never knew him, so it was a total head fuck. Like, I have his last name. A lot of people actually think that I got where I was in the music business because of who my dad was. They just assumed that I was like, it was some type of, Hollywood nepotism or something, but I never knew him. And so I had this, not this stigma, but this shadow or something where, people in message boards are like, oh, he's only successful with his record label, or he's only doing as good as he is because of his dad is. It's like, actually, no, fuckers. Like, I never knew him, and he has nothing to do with the record business. But after knowing him and learning a lot from him and, gaining his wisdom, and it's been awesome, man. So I'm really, excited and re-energized, to move forward with everything that I'm doing. And I'm just very, very grateful that I was able to spend the 2 years that I was with him.
Yeah, that's awesome. It definitely coming from, I lost my dad a couple of years ago and everything, so I definitely understand just that little bit of time, that you got. I mean, I'm sure you feel extremely blessed for that, but it definitely, I'm glad that you were able to spend that time together and you guys were able to collaborate, which is amazing. So
yeah, very fortunate.
So you mentioned with Andy, with as a lead, limited acting history and everything, but he really knocked it out of the park. I thought, he did a really great job for a first-time actor as taking on the lead role of a film. And as a singer, he has a great voice and everything. Why was the choice to replace his voice on the movie and on the soundtrack?
It was really two things. First off, it was going to be a lot more difficult contractually because he's signed to Universal, and he had a Black Belt record coming out and a solo record coming out, and he was tied up in the studio with those projects when we were starting working on the music for the movie. And so when I asked his manager, hey, what do you want to, what should we do here? It was kind of, stated, unless we're going to go through this gauntlet, let's just have, find another voice that you think suits the character great. And so rather than fighting to have his voice, I took a moment to think about it, and I thought that it's better, because so many of his fans are going to be watching him play the character of Johnny Faust. I thought it's better for them to remove themselves from Andy Black or Andy Biersack and see this character to where, yes, it's Andy playing a rock singer, but his stage mannerisms and antics are different. His voice is somebody else, and so they can suspend their belief and imagine that this is the character of Johnny Faust, and he has a different voice, and he moves differently on stage, and it's not just Andy Biersack in another band. And so once I started looking at it like that, I was like, you know what, this is actually great that he's willing to play the character without using his voice, because I think it's going to make it just that much more easier for the audience, especially his fans, to see him as this other character rather than, just being like, oh, it's him and it's his voice and he's moving the same and looking the same and all those things. So I think it really worked out for the best. And I also think that Remington's vocal style fits the character very well. It has, that raspy kind of tortured soul delivery, and I think that really fits the story.
Well, it definitely added to the kind of a little bit more to the almost kind of like the Motley Crue style, I felt, which it kind of ties in with the storyline and everything, coming up on the strip and everything, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I absolutely love the Relentless album. I've been listening to it pretty much all weekend long.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Very cool.
Yeah, I really dig it. The cover of Hey Hey My My is stellar. I was blown away by that. But I also, watching the movie, I love the rest of the soundtrack as well. Is there any chance that we're going to see a full release of all the songs that were playing throughout the movie?
Yeah, that's going to come out in January around the time of the VOD release. So that will be coming out. We're about to announce the artwork and all that here in the next week.
Awesome. Yeah, because I've been a little bummed that I can't find more information from prep school because their covers in the soundtrack were pretty killer. So definitely we'll be looking forward to that.
I had them do Mother and Freak on a Leash specifically for the movie and those scenes. So those covers didn't exist until I met the band and asked them to do them for the movie, which I thought they just did an incredible job. And I think those are going to be two of the most exciting things for people on the soundtrack for sure.
Yeah, and they fit those scenes perfectly too, I thought.
Yeah, it's amazing what the right song can do for a scene. It does almost all the work for you, man. It's incredible.
Yeah. So with this movie being about up and comers, breaking through, who are a few bands that we should be on the lookout for that you think are gonna be breaking through in the future?
As far as like new bands in real life?
Yeah, that you've stumbled across.
Well, I think
you can even plug your own label if you.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think nothing more. I think they've kind of already started to break through, but I think they're going to continue to grow even more. I think Remington's band in real life, Palais Royale, the singer that did the voice of Johnny Faust, I think their new record is going to get a lot of people excited. And then as far as another younger band, it's tough, man. Like 4 years ago, there were so many younger, heavy bands in the metal world sprouting, and it's kind of been a bit of a drought. But there is another band called Greta Van Fleet. I mean, they sound a little too on the nose with Led Zeppelin, but they wear their influence on their sleeve, and they're really, really good.
I just listened to that album, and it's very, very.
Yeah, and then there's an alternative rock singer, Meg Myers, who I'm a huge fan of, and she has a song in the movie as well. And I think her new record is going to be just explosive and phenomenal. So I would definitely keep your eye on Meg Myers as well.
Nice. So I had a chance to watch What Now last night as well, and absolutely hilarious. I loved a lot of it. And so with your two films you tackled dating in the modern world. You got wrestling thrown into that. You got a down and dirty look at The Rock's lifestyle. So what can we expect from you next?
I'm working on this is a project I was working on with my father. It's a biopic on Mildred Burke, who was the first ever $1 million female athlete. She was the pro wrestling champion when female wrestling was actually banned in a lot of the country. This takes place in the 1930s to the 1950s, and it's an incredible story. It's an amazing female underdog. I mean, it's like $1 Million Baby meets A League of Their Own with a true story Rocky ending, and it's incredibly inspiring. And as a big wrestling fan, I never knew about this story, and I actually had called Jim Ross, who was in What Now and who's a legendary wrestling commentator, and I said, hey, JR, I really want to make a feel-good wrestling movie that takes place in the 80s, you know, like mid to late 80s and then ending around like 1990 and having it be, you know, inspired by the Ultimate Warrior and Macho Man Randy Savage and Bret Hart and all these great characters and their stories and make something original and make like the feel-good 80s, you know, Rocky of wrestling. Because I think that wrestling movies, you know, The Wrestler was an amazing film. I love Aronofsky, but it's all about the decline and it's very, you know, dark and depressing. And there's not one that shows the other side of it really that I was aware of. So I called JR with the idea and he goes, hey, I love it. By the way, check out this book, Queen of the Ring. And I was like, what's that about? He goes, well, it's a true story about Mildred Burke and the WWE had just put her in the Hall of Fame. And I read the book like 3 times in 2 weeks and I was like, this is amazing. And so I changed what, you know, the vision for the wrestling film to make it about Mildred Burke. So the movie's going to be called Millie. I just secured the life rights and the book rights with the family and the author, and also got her unpublished manuscript from her granddaughter, and I'm really, really pumped for that. So that will probably be the next film that I will hopefully, you know, direct in the next year or so. And then as far as the American Satan world, that story of the band and the record label and other new characters will continue in a TV series that we're shooting next year. I'm kind of torn between the name Painted Black or Paradise City. I don't know if you have any feedback for me on those two as potential running names, but that's going to be a bit less on the supernatural and more on real life family drama and industry shenanigans and everything. But the band and the movie will continue, as will the record label and some of the other characters, and then we'll introduce a lot of new people in it as well. So yeah, those are the 2 things I'm focused most on the TV film side.
Very nice. So I'm assuming that we're going to be getting more music from the Relentless then?
Yes, absolutely.
Very nice. Definitely looking forward to that.
Oh yeah.
Well, had a blast. Yeah, what now? I was raised a wrestling fan, so just seeing JR immediately, I was like, oh my god! And then the fact that you got him to say "fuck out" in the film, I lost it. And then of course DDP and Jake the Snake in it. You know, that was great as well.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, "Ooh, he is a wrestling fan." Very nice. You never really knows his shit. So yeah, no, but yeah, it had a blast, and then especially with American Satan too, it was a hell of a lot of fun. You know, just everybody involved. How did the partnership with with Regal and those stuff? How did that go with the distribution?
So AMC, we submitted it to their AMC Independent.
Right.
Yeah, no, we got Regal screens too, but AMC Independent was the first big one, and yeah, they believed in the film and they took us in, and then we ended up getting screens all over the country with them, and it was, you know, for a small indie movie with a small P&A budget, it was very successful. We hit right around $250,000, I think, on around like 50 screens, and yeah, it was, you know, it was awesome. I was very grateful because it's you know, unless you have a huge distributor or a huge budget, it's really hard to get indie movies to even last longer than a week in the theater.
Well, and especially with a title like American Satan, you wouldn't expect.
Yeah, you know, that kind of, I was kind of torn on that. Like, I was like, is that too polarizing? And I didn't know that American Made and American Assassin were also going to be coming out around the same time frame. So, you know, I still kind of beat myself up. I was like, would it have been better to call the movie Johnny Faust, or, you know, the original running name was Sympathy for the Devil? I always kind of wonder, was American Satan is too polarizing of a name, because Satan is it's funny, man, like Satan is just, it's amazing how you can say devil and everyone's like, devil. But when you say Satan, it's like, oh my God, it's like, I don't know what it is about that word, but it's much, it just freaks people out more than like Lucifer or devil. It's like Satan is just, I don't know. So I always wonder if that was too intense for most people or not.
So there we have it. My interview with Ash Avildsen. Definitely a great time getting the chance to talk with him. I highly recommend you check out American Satan. It's available for pre-order now. Check out AmericanSatanMovie.com. Also, check out the soundtrack, available anywhere online music is sold. And if you get a chance, check out his first movie, What Now? It's available if you're an Amazon Prime member. It's actually available streaming for free with your Amazon Prime membership. Otherwise, it's available for rent through Amazon as well. Give it a chance. It's a really fun comedy. So